What is going on, nerds? Mark here, back with a new tech video, and today we have some products that I have never heard about, to be honest, but, nonetheless, we're going to try out everything here. I'm not allergic to any new technology, but today we have the Maono, I don't know if I'm saying that right, that's what I Googled, Podcaster C2, and we also have the PD200X Podcaster microphone. Just want to say shout out to Maono for sending these products out. Very excited to try out these products, to be honest, because we just started our new stream every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time or 5 o'clock Pacific Time. But anyway, we have a portable and I guess desktop podcasting setup. We have like a portable podcaster battery. This Maono Caster C2 has a ton of features. I'm not going to go over all of them in the unboxing, but we have reverb, we have gain adjustment, we have noise reduction, all live, whether you're on Discord, whether you're on stream. And the best part is it has phantom power. It also has a built-in battery, so you can portably podcast with even XLR, which is great. But you don't need power source. It is built in. And the PD200X is kind of an accompanying microphone. It's got RGB, XLR, or USB, which is nice to see. Typically, it's one or the other. So this is a very handy tool. So let's get these things open and check them out. Again, I don't know too much about these products, so we're certainly going to go over all of that in the review section of this video. So you can skip to that or keep watching the unboxing if you're curious. This Podcaster C2 is just going to open as a dust flap box, just like that. All right, first thing you see, manual. On the ground for now. We have a piece of foam at the top. Let's just remove that foam. You can see right on the top, which is actually quite astounding. I thought I got a black podcaster because I actually asked for white, and clearly the packaging has black on it, the photo, but I just realized now that I opened it, the front box has the color indicated, which is not the best advertising, but nonetheless, here it is. I have it in white. So in general, all I really see is a 3-ring audio jack, 3.5 millimeter jack. And then they also gave you a USB-C to USB cable, which doesn't seem very long, maybe about 6 feet. So you might have to get your own longer cable, but at least they provide you with a color coordinated version. It is nice when they give you longer cables. So I'm just gonna put those back in the box so I don't lose them. But let's pull this podcaster out for the first time. And before I even show you, just want to make sure we're not missing anything in the box, just for all you people who are thinking about buying it. And no, there is nothing under the foam. We have the wires, which I'll throw over here. So here we go. Here is the podcaster. Pretty clean looking, if you ask me. It's got a nice gloss finish to it. I kind of like how only the sides are white and not the top. I thought I'd prefer maybe the whole thing being white, but now that I'm seeing it, I think it really does have a good look. We have phantom power, Bluetooth, built-in battery, reverb, sidechain, direct monitor, pitch presets, noise reducer, and you have 3 custom buttons, which I'm gonna have to figure out what they do. It's A, B, and C. The dials, they don't feel premium, but they don't feel necessarily cheap either. It's kind of like a middle ground. Definitely not the most fancy feeling dials I've ever felt here, but we'll give them some slack for the price. This thing goes for about $60, so for the price of $59.99, like, I really don't think you can go wrong with this, unless it just makes my microphone sound terrible. Got a little gook actually on this out of the box. You can probably see it on camera. Some gook right there, I don't know. But anyway, just got to scrape it off. I like my products new. The master dial doesn't really have that premium butter feel that I was hoping for. We do have a piece of plastic to peel off on the top. So we're just gonna, all right, these dials are getting in the way. All right, here we go. Okay, it was relatively satisfying. Could have been more satisfying. But now the gloss is shining even more. It's honestly a very nice looking product. It does feel like $60 in your hand, but I'm hoping all the features and how universal this product is makes up for the actual price and build quality. It's a bit plasticky. So with that being said, just a quick look. We have XLR on the back. We have auxiliary headphone jacks. We even have a stream out aux jack, which I don't even know what that really does. Kind of new to the whole streaming thing, but we'll figure out every feature on this guy and give it a full review. Power button is also on the back. We have our USB-C power or our USB-C connection to the computer. So we can take XLR mic in with even phantom power, and we could have it USB-C digitally connected to the computer. I'm sure it's going to sound pretty well. It is portable. That's my favorite part. It is battery power. Stick around for the review for the battery life. I'm going to move on from this device here. We'll go over the features in a bit. We're going to get right into the PD200X microphone. We have this one also in white, but again, they have the packaging like black photography on the front. I don't know if it's because they only really sell online and it doesn't matter, but not my favorite packaging. The packaging is nice, except for the photography, to be honest. Like, I wish they just took the extra step. But same thing, manual on top. Seems like they have a consistency here. Foam is next, and then right under the foam, we have our mic here. The white seems pretty matte and flashy, so let's pull this mic out. It's got a nice tone to it, nice color. Pretty light microphone, definitely lighter than the one I'm using right here, the Rode Podcaster. But it does look nice, well painted, I would say. And it does have a built-in shock mount, which is actually not typical. Usually you have to buy your separate shock mount and then add your mic to it. This one seems to have the shock resistor built right on. So that is actually quite nice for the price of $79.99. They do give you a lot for your money at this brand. And I don't know if it's because they're trying to be competitive with the pricing, get their name out there. Kudos to them for keeping the cost down. So we'll see if the quality matches up. Very nice white color matching USB to USB-C cable, much longer. It actually feels significantly thicker and well made compared to the podcaster wires that they gave you. I'm curious how long this cable is, so let's unbox this really quick. Usually I'll just skip this part, but all right. I'm gonna say this is about 9 feet or 10 feet, about 3 meters long. Better than 6 feet, I'll give them that. And they also have their logo, of course, stamped into the wire, which is always a nice little touch. Putting the wire to the side, there's only one more thing left in this box, and just to confirm, we're gonna, of course, lift the foam up for you, and there's nothing else. All the trash aside, they do give you the adapter here. I don't know the exact measurement for the thread here. It's going to go right into the mic thread. So I guess if you have a smaller and or larger thread for your microphone, they do accommodate. It's always nice when brands do think about everything. So they don't want to give you a poor brand experience. There seems to be like a little gook inside the ring here of this mic. It's going to be hard to see in camera. There's something about the way they package these devices. Between the box, they got really dirty, and it seems like the products also kind of have a little grime on them coming out of the box. So I don't know if that's how they pack them in the factory or what, but maybe the sanitation's got to be kicked in a little bit more when packing. Like when I first bought this mic, let's say, the first one I bought, there was a huge dent and scratch in it. It's like little things like that that kind of turn me off. But just going over the mic quick before we move on to the review. Obviously, we have the mounting area with this little dial to loosen up the angle here. That's typical. That kind of feels a little chintzy, but again, they do pack a lot for the price, so there's only so much quality I can really ask for in every section of this product. The shock resistor does feel pretty nice, so I do have to give them that. I like how it's color coordinated. On the back, we do have an RGB button. I mean, I think it's an RGB button, but it kind of feels a little crappy or non-responsive, so we're gonna have to see how that plays out when we plug it in. We have a headphone jack on the back of the mic to monitor audio directly, and we have a USB-C for power. Or if you want to use USB-C instead of XLR, this mic again has 2 features here. Really like to see that for sure. We have a mic and headset volume dial here. I'm gonna have to see how they play out. It seems like the headset volume and the mic volume is on the same dial, so I think you can click this button. Seems like it clicks, and you can adjust each individual volume, which also seems pretty handy. Not something you typically see, but again, I guess this newer technology is kicking it up a bit compared to some older microphone technology. Anyway, it has been long enough for the unboxing of the Podcaster C2 and the PD200X microphone from Maono. So this has been Mark from Noisy Pixel, and stick around for the review section where we're gonna break everything down and see if this is worth your money. Hey everyone, thank you for clicking on this part of the video. I wanted to specifically go over all of the features in real time of the Maono AMC2 Podcaster. I could talk about this product all day, but I'm sure you want to hear how it sounds itself with like the different effects. So I'm going to just go through everything right here. We'll start at the bottom left here. The 48 volt is over XLR, which is going to be this port right here. Now you can actually plug in a 1/4-inch jack to this port as well if you wanted to plug in a guitar or an instrument, but we will get to that. But the 48 volt, very convenient to have. For the most part, this is going to sound better than USB. So if you can get a microphone that does XLR, you're going to have to turn this on to use that. Now the Bluetooth feature is nice. So what it's going to be able to do is you can actually hold this down, pair your cell phone or any Bluetooth device that's going to input audio or send audio out into the Maono amp. If you connect your phone, you can actually play music over voice chat, play music during a live stream, or play audio from a video that's on your phone for a live stream. It's very convenient to be able to do that, or it's just fun, to be honest. So to turn it off, you just got to hold down the button. To turn it on, you just got to hold it down to connect or to pair. It does not work on a soft touch. You have to hold it down to activate the Bluetooth, just so you know. So let's keep going. This is obviously going to be a fun one, so we're going to cycle through the different reverb effects. So now I sound like I'm in a hall, and there's some other effects here. We have Valley, more wet reverb. The reverb refracts around. It's way deeper. This is going to be the room sounds. Again, these are all going to be slightly different. This is my original tone. Karaoke is after the original. So then we have church preset. Sounds a little different, of course. And then we're back to the ones we had before. So you can notice when I click on these buttons, it takes a little bit for the effect to kick in. So just keep that in mind when streaming or doing anything live. You can also hear kind of an audible click or like a static noise when it changes in your headset. So just keep that in mind that there are audio indicators of how to use this thing. We're going to keep it going. We're going to go a little bit lighter on this effect, but the sidechain or the music only, by holding down or clicking soft touching, you're going to be able to activate and turn on controls to control the stream music volume, or like if there's background music for the stream, you can control this here. But this is going to require you linking to another software or like an input software such as like Adobe Audition or any other live stream program. I'm not going to use this too much. It's just generally nice to have this when you want to control outside audio sources individually. So good for a live streamer, great to have this right here. One of the better features here, we have direct monitors. So now with the direct monitor, I can actually hear what I am outputting to anyone else listening. So whatever the final output is, I hear. I don't hear like the input. It's going to be whatever the final effect is. If I have reverb effects on, or we're going to get to this, but if I have pitch presets on, I'm going to be able to hear that directly, which is quite nice. And there's very, very little delay. It's kind of hard to have direct monitor on if you are hearing like a delay to your own voice, but this is actually pretty easy to have on. It's pretty much immediate, doesn't really get in the way of my speaking. I can hear how loud I'm speaking completely, and this works very well. The loopback feature is actually quite awesome. Let's say I have a desktop video playing and I want to have the audio come through the stream. If I turn on loopback, I could basically share any audio that I hear with my viewers, and you can obviously turn this on or off. Very convenient to have, if I must say myself. Even in Discord, I'm playing like a video for my friends to hear where they're just listening and they don't have to watch my stream necessarily. I could just feed the audio right through. So it's very cool to have the loopback feature. Pitch presets is going to be another fun one. That's going to give you all these different voices.
So my voice should change into a female with extremely high reverb and volume. These are quite fun if you're like playing video games live, or if you just want to be, make funny announcements. But it's just quite fun, honestly. Like you could
Sing with these, it almost auto-tunes your voice. So this is going to be the male preset. And again, you're going to hear
slight delay between my voice changing in these effects, but nonetheless, you could hear the audio change if you have the direct monitor on. So direct monitor is going to be a nice pair with these different effects, especially when you're live streaming, so you can make sure you time everything correctly.
And the robot is obviously going to diminish my voice a few octaves down. Very fun to use this. This device is actually really cool if you're making like funny videos where you don't have to do text to chat or text to voice generation where you can get these other people's voices. You can simply just use your own inflection, use your own voice, and use these presets to manipulate basically narration, or like if you're making a movie or a funny meme, you can do robot voiceover. So it's quite interesting that way. And now we're back to
default. Sometimes I forget I have these presets on and I'm kind of going through information and I have a robot voice. So it's quite funny. Noise reducer is going to be able to reduce just the extreme amount of fuzz and gain input, like noise, that this device has. This device does have a drawback of having a lot of fuzz. So the stage 1 noise canceling does help a lot when inputting audio into the microphone, especially when doing like a narration. I say this in the review later if you stick around, but the noise canceling number 2 high is just too much. It's going to cut off a lot of my sentence and like the beginning and the end of my sentences because of how loud I speak and the inflection. So I find this is too harsh, and I like to keep this on stage 1 noise cancellation. To finish it up, we have the A, B, and C sound buttons. In order to record audio into the device, you actually have to hold down one of the keys here, and then that's going to indicate that it's deleting. And now to record over that, it's quite interesting. All you have to do is click this once, and now it's recording. So right now it's recording by voice. So when I finish recording, and you have up to 30 seconds here, by the way, and no more, you can hit the recording button again to stop the recording. And now if we play this again, it's going to basically repeat everything I just said. Recording by voice, and it can stop it whenever I want. Very fun feature to have. So lastly, I just want to go over the actual hardware on here and what they do. This left fader is going to be a way to control volume. So as you can see, as I move down, my volume is changing in the input. And this is a way to easily smoothen out and control your input. Now, this is going to be different from the gain here. The gain is basically how much power you're putting into your microphone. So as I turn this to the left, you should be getting less. And then as I turn this to the right, you should be getting more and more of me. And then you can control that after the fact with your fader. That would be the correct way to do it. The best way to go about things is set your gain and then control the fader after. And same thing with this. This is going to be your auxiliary out or headphone out gain. So this is going to control how much power I'm driving into my headset. Basically, you won't hear a difference here, but I will hear a difference of my own voice or any music I'm playing if I adjust this. So every headset you own is going to have a different ability to handle gain. So my headset can go pretty high, but it does get very, very loud if I go past this 75% point. Almost too loud, hurting my ears. So you want to find your happy place, and this is about where I like to keep it. And you can always, again, mess with the output in the computer. So I like to have my power set correctly here, and then I'll mess with the software volume controls after the fact. So conveniently on the left, we have our input gain decibel meter, and what that's going to show is really generally how loud I'm speaking. Although there are other ways to monitor this, this is a good general way to easily know if you're being too loud or if your gain is set too high. With the master output dial here, although I might be like peaking or have a certain volume over on the left, I can control how much volume you hear on the right by increasing my out. So obviously I'm going to get louder and louder and louder when I do that. And then I'm going to get lower and lower and lower when I do that, which is quite convenient to have all these different ways to adjust volume on the fly without necessarily messing up your kind of intended presets for your devices or hardware. On the right side, we have the output fader. So this is going to be similar to the input fader, but only you're able to fade similar to the output dial, basically what someone else is hearing or what the stream is hearing. Other than my wire from my mouse, you can see how many wires this really adds to your desk. I have my headphone wires plugged in. I have my charging cable and power cable for the Maono, which is optional because this is battery powered. But when this needs to charge, you got to plug it in. So I like to just run it anyway. At least 3 to 4 wires into your desk that you might have not had previously. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to get this device. It is going to add some clutter. I don't really mind all the wires. I'm kind of used to it at this point, but some people really just hate seeing them. So the last thing I pretty much wanted to do was just kind of demonstrate the range of this microphone. So as I go up close, you could see that it's still kind of managing my audio pretty well. Although I do get a lot richer and deeper, it is louder. So you're going to have to adjust, your auxiliary gain. You're going to have to adjust your input gain if you like to sit up close or whatever you prefer. But you can see that this mic has pretty decent pickup, I would say. Not at the sides. You can see that it's losing a lot of sound over here, which is a good thing. But I could be pretty far back and still get a lot of the audio picked up, which is kind of hard to do for some mics. And the noise reducer is going to make this a little bit better. But if I turn up the noise reducer, you can hear all of the room tone, the room echo that I have. So I like to keep stage 1 noise reduction on for that reason. And as I step up close, you can see that the mic is going to get a lot louder. So this mic is a very comfortable mic, allows you to kick it back in your chair, and it's going to kind of reduce a lot of the external audio. Although it's not perfect at it, it does pick up audio from the side, which is really not the best thing for someone who is podcasting or streaming with multiple people in one room. But overall, it's got pretty good sound dynamics, and it's a pretty decent sounding mic. The only thing I really don't like, and I mentioned this later, is that the Maono device itself kind of adds reverb to almost everything I do regardless. I just wanted to take a moment to test out an instrument for you guys. So you can see that I have a guitar plugged into the 1/4-inch jack on the amp here. And I just wanted to run through how the raw sound of the guitar sounds in the Maono AMC2, but also how the pitch presets and the reverb presets really affect the sound and just the enjoyment of playing through this device. It's almost like you have an amp in your headphones at night, what you would sound like through an amplifier, but you don't want to wake everyone up. You can plug into the AMC2 at night. But nonetheless, let's start with how the guitar sounds just naturally, and then we'll just scroll through the effects really quick. Alright, so let's put on some effects so you can see how they sound. This is the church effect now. Now the hall effect, this is the hall effect. Now we got some valley. And this is going to be the room effect. And that's pretty much everything. You got karaoke room, valley, church. The reverb is very nice to have. It's like having one of those either guitar pedals or having effects built into your amp, all portably, which is very cool. You can also see that the pitch presets, which like the female voice, the male voice, the baby, all that stuff, can also apply effects to your guitar, such as like the robot voice can make it sound like a bass guitar. So we could switch to that, and then you can hear that it sounds almost, much deeper. It's almost got like a lot of compression to it, which is fine. It is just fun to have. And this is the female voice. This is the male voice right here. And that's pretty much the vibe of the guitar on the Maono AMC2. So this has been Mark, and I'll see you on the full-fledged written portion of the review, which is narrated through the Maono AMC2 and the Maono PD200X microphone, which is up next. Audio and long-form content is on the rise. People are constantly looking for more ways to engage in content throughout their coffee and lunch breaks, and that comes in the form of podcasts, streams, and YouTube channels. We all know getting involved in these content categories takes serious bread, but that's not the case anymore, given you provide the Maono AMC2 podcaster and PD200X mic a chance to steal your heart. These products can be ranked separately as they do work independently from one another, but they truly do make a pair. Let's speak on the AMC2 first. The Maono AMC2 podcaster goes for $59.99 USD, a fantastic price given all of the features packed into this product. On top of this, the features provided have comical usability, unlike other soundboards or portable podcast devices. All sound effects are well designed, while sounding great, rather than having crummy effects slapped into a device to warrant a selling point. After using the soundboard's ABC buttons erase and rewrite process, I was rather pleased. I can record myself, capture audio externally from an input, or even screen capture audio from my desktop's audio out to create a soundbite. I took it a step further and recorded the soundbite into my video software, editing the audio, gain, timing, and re-recorded for even a more perfected sound. This addition to the Maono AMC2 deserved its place. Keep in mind, there are no MP3 or WAV files that can be uploaded to the custom ABC sound buttons directly. You must record them internally before you produce your show, as the only way to change your soundbite is through erase and overwrite. The soundbites will save until you overwrite and erase upon a new recording. I found this to be a minor flaw in the user experience, and a drag and drop menu in software of some kind might have translated better for customizability. But there is certainly still charm to this erase and overwrite. You become less attached to the sounds and explore fun ways to add to your production. Regarding the noise reducer, it does work well by all means, but maybe too well, leaving no room for customizability of the gate or denoise amount. This leads to your voice being cut off occasionally, most likely at the beginning or end of your sentence inflection. I do leave noise reduction enabled on low at all times, as I tend to take this trade-off. Just something to keep in mind, the stage 2 noise reduction is a bit useless in my opinion, as it is too harsh, but maybe can work for some situations that I haven't encountered. Referring to pitch presets, they certainly are a blast, but my only complaint is that all effects add a serious amount of reverb. I wish there were a bit more variety, or again, a way to control these effects more tailored to my preferences. I also wish there were a more general auto-tune effect, but the closest thing is the female pitch preset, and it sounds damn good anyway. I'm coming for you, Mariah Carey. The reverb presets are also very fun, leaving a variance of dry and wet reverb with different room sizes as well. One thing to note is that you cannot use pitch presets and reverb presets together. They will simply turn one or the other off. These presets are a blast when you want to make an announcement in your stream or when you use an instrument live. One major downfall to the AMC2 user experience is the lack of ability to quickly toggle your favorite pitch or reverb preset. You have to cycle through a linear toggle system one by one, easily leaving room for impatience error on the fly. It's best to remember the color of the intended presets. There is an audible female voice indicator, but this can be misheard in times of live broadcasts. If you desire to live stream from your mobile phone or just use your phone as an input device, simply connect via Bluetooth. It is quite the convenient feature for on-the-fly recording or playback of anything audio or content. The podcaster does not support Bluetooth headphones, but does support Bluetooth to your phone for audio input. Importantly, the Bluetooth input quality is astounding. It doesn't sound compressed or crummy, as Bluetooth often does, rather giving you a great source waveform to work with. For fun, I have been running audio or music through my AMC2 to share with my friends over voice chat, making for a fun and practical day-to-day way to enjoy the hardware. When it comes to 48V XLR phantom power versus USB-C, you can expect the phantom power XLR to provide a slightly better input quality, range, and a small reduction in noise and fuzz. It's not major, but worth going to XLR if possible. The sad part, the Maono PD200's RGB ring does not receive power over 48V phantom power, so you still have to run the USB cable for maximum aesthetic. A win-lose situation for providing XLR 48V support. Lastly, if you are a real streamer or live musician, you might find use for the sidechain or music only, or even the loopback features, thus allowing you to individually turn down music volume or melody tracks to properly hear yourself. You can also feed any audio coming from your PC, phone, or input device directly into a stream to share with your viewers. I was pleasantly surprised to see how well these features worked and how they apply to streaming and production culture. That's pretty much it for features. The front face provides a black glossy finish with orange details and accents, regardless of you purchasing the white variant of the AMC2, with a white matte casing. Overall, the build of the device is pretty plasticky, from fader and gain knobs to the frame. The faders and knobs have slight pattern textures to add a bit more style and grip. The AMC2 is quite the fragile piece of tech. Be careful how you push and grip the knobs and faders, as they seem easily snapped if torqued improperly. I suppose you get what you pay for in this case. The rubber base feature and soundboard buttons at the bottom feel satisfying to the touch and press. I would say that there is a little input lag or delay when clicking these buttons, forcing you to be slow, precise, and sure of each press to work this device without a headache. If you press too quickly, you may not toggle the intended button. The front-facing text, icons, and descriptions of each section, such as the little mic icon under the decibel meter on the left side of the device, could be a little more clearly labeled. The small icons and typography does maintain a simple and stylish aesthetic, but when learning and remembering how to use this, it became a pain to utilize the device itself as a quick reference. The front face also has a simple yet well-designed battery indicator with 4 green LEDs represent 25% each. A red light also appears when receiving external power or charging. Also, the Bluetooth symbol lights up with a colorful blue that contrasts nicely with the other RGB colors. Regarding hard-to-see details, the Maono AMC2 is very challenging to use in a dark space, as no button is backlit. You are relying on ambient light from other buttons or your ability to master muscle memory. It's best to work with some sort of room or studio light in conjunction with this device, especially in a live setting. A major downside to using this device every day is the amount of wires added to your desk or game space. From a wired headset, USB plugs for RGB and PC connection, charging USB cable, XLR cables, it could be a big jump in clutter. On a positive note, the AMC2 has impressive gain levels, leaving a large amount of room for volume control, and boy does this get loud. It can even power studio level headphones. My headset was so loud at max volume, it is for sure dangerous to my eardrums, making my ears ring. This is still somewhat a benefit, as volume lovers can finally find their comfortable head-bopping volume since there is ample room to blast your headphones full of wattage. Some headsets are going to get louder than others with the AMC2, as different hardware has different sensitivity, but my favorite headset was able to get loud enough to hurt. A negative to the impressive gain is fuzz and feedback in your headset. The fuzz and feedback seems to come to a general halt below 50%, but it's still present from time to time, especially while running software that is linked to the AMC2 for audio out. Simply adjust your headset accordingly. Although, if you are listening at a high gain, you most likely can't hear the fuzz during audio playback, but in silence, the high gain can be a nuisance to your eardrums. It's certainly a trade-off for power provided by the AMC2. The AMC2 can also replace many devices from its multi-use case personality, from desk DACs to portable audio recorders, live stream decks, and more. It's even battery powered with up to 7 hours of life depending on use, with an approximate 2.5 hour charge time. I'd like to toss in that the fun reverb and voice effects provided by the AMC2 cannot be used when using a USB microphone. You must plug directly into the interface to take advantage of these benefits. Side note to this, the AMC2 seems to add a little reverb in general to all audio inputted. It would have been nice to see the product have more of a raw sound to its default state rather than permanent reverb, but it is very slight. Adding on, the AMC2 does support instrument input, such as a guitar to the 1/4-inch port, but it is not recommended to use both a mic and the guitar at once. The device has multi-feature, but it is not multi-use. Using an instrument directly through the C2 audio interface is a delight. Where it might not have the cleanest tone in the eyes of audiophiles, the reverb and voice effects make it sound like you have guitar pedals on the fly. In general, it sounded great enough to put on a show, and that's what matters at the end of the day. The price for power in the Maono AMC2 is amazing, easily blowing away my equally priced amp that I used prior to this. I won't be looking back as the Maono AMC2 remains my day-to-day desk amp and audio interface, until something outplays it of course. The AMC2 for the price simply packs a huge, hard-to-beat punch. It doesn't necessarily do anything that I haven't seen before, and yet it may not have top-of-the-line quality, but it blows all expectations away regarding quality and practicality for multiple use cases. The C2 is a one-stop shop for all audio and content creators on a budget. The Podcaster also accommodates any supported mic with loads of power, gain, and reverb fun, so you don't have to particularly have a mono product to enjoy the AMC2 caster. Noisy Pixel is giving the Maono AMC2 Podcaster an A. This product is amazing, but it does fall short on build quality, and annoying fuzz from gain. It also has a few user experience flaws, but overall, this product offers some of the best quality, features, and creator experiences that I have seen in a while, specifically for an affordable rate. If you think this product can suit your needs nicely, you will not be disappointed, yet thoroughly entertained. The streaming category, but more importantly, the gaming mic category, seems to be a bit dominated by a few brands, and the same mics within these brands. You can see names like Shure, Rode, HyperX, Blue, and a few others showcased often, but that certainly doesn't stop Maono from trying to take the market share away. Claiming to have the most microphone sales in the smartphone market, retailing at $92.99 USD on the Maono store, the PD200X is one of these devices trying to steal the spotlight. The Maono PD200X, primarily made of inexpensive feeling metals, has a charm to it. The device has a smooth, well-painted matte texture and surface. The easy to slip on and off mic muff is quite unique from what I've seen on the market, providing easy access with a strange buttery-like friction. The PD200X's true identity lies underneath, showing off a stylish great design, leaving you the option to leave the cover off without looking ugly. The PD200X brings a few more notable hardware talking points to the plate, such as a surprisingly bright LED ring, showing off preset colors via the button on the mic, or specifically choosing your intended color from the Maono downloadable software. We will discuss the software a bit more later. May I say the LED button on the mic is rather unresponsive, stiff, and lacking haptic feedback, although easy to find by touch. There seems to be a lack of customization in the LED itself, only allowing you to select from a preset bunch of static colors, one rainbow effect, or the color white. I personally think the white looks the best, showing off the brightest potential of the LED, but the lack of customizable effects here is upsetting. You can conveniently turn off the RGB by holding down this button rather than having to open up any software windows, which was a plus. There is also non-customizable RGB on the microphone dial. The dial is fairly untextured, but it does match the overall layout of the microphone design. The dial ring LED indicates which mode you are controlling by changing colors with the press of the dial. When adjusting the levels, the RGB ring will adjust brightness according to your input levels, which I thought was neat. I like the discrete aspect of changing modes through clicking the dial itself, as it removes more buttons to press on the microphone. Speaking of buttons, next to the dial is your built-in mute switch indicated by red LEDs after pressing the dial. It's convenient to have a mute feature if and when you use the mic portably or with USB connection. The shock mount is simple yet functional, with tight sections of O-ring-like grips pulling the mic tight enough to not jiggle at all. No matter how much I try, I can't get the mic to bounce or sway, and I think that is from the lightweight nature of the PD200X. Nevertheless, this does not stop the mic from inputting any jiggle to the mic arm, desk, or small touch to the mic itself. The PD200X will pick up that low bass rumble from unwanted contact or movement, which is a big negative. Lastly, the PD200X brings multifunctionality and affordability together. With mix and match use of XLR or USB-C for PC or mobile, I love to see this adaptation to all users rather than just a pro mic or just a consumer mic. This may pose the question, does it even sound good enough for a pro to consider a hybrid mic? To put it simply, the Maono PD200X is a great microphone for a great price, offering a sound range up to 40Hz to 16,000Hz. Granted, this mic sounds great, it does have trade-offs depending on who you are and how you use it. The PD200X is a cardioid microphone allowing mic pickups from all sides, predominantly forward-facing with very little pickup from the rear. This is great for someone who doesn't want to worry about being in the mic sweet spot, optimal for a streamer as this device has similar qualities to a general video microphone. For a professional or engineer trying to record the cleanest, least noisy audio, you might want to avoid buying this mic. Due to the structure of the cardioid mic, there will be way more influence in the gain fuzz from room tone, which will diminish narration quality or force post-production. I also think the PD200X mic falls short for podcasting with multiple people in one room. Also, the pickup is too sensitive. Good luck using mechanical keyboards during a live stream, or during recording where you may want to type discreetly. The PD200X is for sure inputting those clicky sounds, so you may want to convert switches if this is a big deal. My previous microphone, structured differently, did not receive any pickup from my loud, clacky keys. The Maono PD200X allows for loose software customizability, and I say this because it only supports this over USB connection. You can choose your RGB preferred color, change input tone quality, which is very hard to hear the differences between deep, natural, legacy, and original. You can also toggle mic monitoring and even EQ the headset out port via advanced settings. I find the headphones out EQ a bit useless, as it barely does anything. You can also find features like input limiter and input compressor to mess with recording sensitivity. Although the mic offers both XLR and USB connection, using XLR through a preamp or DAC will most certainly offer you both better sound dynamics and less input noise. This is why the PD200X pairs greatly with the AMC2 previously discussed, but I digress. Conveniently, the PD200X input range was a nice change, allowing me to kick it back in my chair and talk to my friends without the concern of putting my mouth up to the mic. I can sit fairly far away from the mic or even go off to the side a bit, and the input sounds fairly consistent, offering a great setup for casual gaming, content creation, or pro streaming. The input does increase greatly, yet still controlled while sitting close to the microphone, providing deeper bass and louder volumes. Overall, the PD200X allows me to not worry about whether my viewers can hear me or not, while other mics do not offer the same peace of mind. To sum up the performance discussion, the PD200X has great input quality, fidelity, and tone, offering a wide range of bass, mids, and highs. Very surprising for the price, as I typically am disappointed by more inexpensive audio gear, but I can't say this is the case for the PD200X. The PD200X puts itself in a weird position in the market. Who is this for and why would they buy it? Well, this piece of hardware is more for an entry-level content creator, day-to-day gamer, or any streamer. Pro or casual. It seems to jump around demographics, depending on how you connect the device and your intentions of use. The best part is, it's cheaper than most high-fidelity mics, especially if caught on sale, and can be a very handy main or backup tool to have. For instance, the mic is much better at solo streaming due to its area coverage, allowing the user to relax, rather than narrations and professional audio, where room tone, gain fuzz, and background noise could become a hassle to edit. It can also thrive in settings where people are sharing the microphone in the same space or mobile production. I find this mic by itself, although high quality and a worthy contender on the shelf, is a bit confused regarding intended demographic and may be overshadowed by more tailored hardware that is similarly priced. The PD200X is cheaper than most, but not by much, so make sure the reason you are buying this lines up to your hobbies or career. Like previously stated, if you catch this on sale, buying the PD200X could be a no-brainer. Noisy Pixel is giving the Maono microphone a B+. Great input quality, great price, extremely light and portable, has an awesome LED ring, but is better suited for a less serious user or mobile producer regardless of XLR support. The Maono PD200X mic definitely steps up in quality when connected to the AMC2 caster. Granted, most to all mics would improve general performance when using the AMC2 and XLR. Compared to other amps in this price bracket, I won't be turning back as the AMC2 packs a punch both in fidelity and features. The added reverb and voice presets work tremendously well with the cardioid range of the PD200X, allowing for funny manipulation of how distant my voice sounds. The bundle price of $139.99 for both the AMC2 and PD200X is a great deal for most people. Even I would consider this regardless of negative trade-offs. Again, for someone who doesn't have professional knowledge of audio or production, this combo is a fun place to start that won't take all of your money away. But just know there are downsides such as noise, grain, and sensitivity issues that can hinder professional aspects of audio. I would recommend these products, but you wouldn't catch me hyping this stuff up around an audio engineer, audiophile, or hobbyist. This is more for streamers or gamers looking for quality packed in with fun for an affordable rate. However, you obviously get more mileage out of these products with knowledge of post-production, but I don't necessarily think Maono is targeting the weathered pro. The AMC2 caster is certainly worth the low price of $59.99, single-handedly holding down any entry-level or intermediate content creator with loads of use cases, let alone its portability. I can't speak the same for the PD200X. The mic is good, but it doesn't scream as a necessary item in conjunction with the AMC2. Any mic would go great with the Maono caster. Noisy Pixel is giving the Maono AMC2 and PD200X bundle an A-, a happy average between the two devices. For the price, you really can't go wrong, as there is a lot of secret value in these two gems. Maono really outdid themselves by bringing products to market that can truly compete with big brands owning the space, and it does not go unnoticed. The only place this falls short is with the nitpicky audio professionals looking for the cleanest audio tone available, and the childish appeal of the hardware does not help its case. You may find high fidelity fun here, but look elsewhere for higher end recordings. Thank you for watching this full-fledged review of the Maono AMC2 podcaster and the Maono PD200X microphone. This has been Mark from Noisy Pixel. Noisy Pixel is a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our future content. See you, nerds.
Noisy Pixel.